showtime. And they stay there. And they stay there. And they stay there. Cause all I do is win. We the best music. And if you go eat, I'm going in.
Welcome, members of the league. Going a little bit old school. I know how much everybody here used to love when we did a little music prelude to the picks of the week. So I decided to do a little black and white recording. Decided to bring back the music and let everybody know that all I do is win championships. That's what I do out here. So I wanted to get in, do the preview quick before the game started. So it's going to actually have to be really quick because it's about 8:15. We are going to start with the Kia Sorrento matchup of the week. And we have the super duper fun team against May the Swartz be with you. This game does not have a lot of potential to do much good, I guess, overall for Derek Lehman. However, for Jason Ferguson, this could possibly mean a division lead. I am going to take Jason in the matchup. He is projected 139 comparison to 101, but it does go a little bit deeper than that. It's going to be a lot of it's going to be relying on actually tonight's game, which typically you don't see a ton of high scores out of the fantasy performers. For Derek Lehman, you have Jason Avant, Carolina. For D'Angelo Williams, he's starting as well. We have Colston starting. So 3 of Derek Lehman's players are playing tonight, which does not always bode well, as I mentioned. His lone bright spot typically is Phillip Rivers. So if Rivers and Floyd get a couple of big connections, that could change things. Not liking his chances, though. Is Jason actually probably one of the more surprise players of the year? Justin Forsett. He has a questionable tag. It does look like he's going to play, but other than him, I think Lynch has a bounce back week this week. Decker may get a couple good catches going against Kansas City. Hawkins going against a porous Tampa Bay defense. And I'm looking for Nick Foles to have a pretty decent game too, as well as Rainey to make a little bit better performance than typical just because of all the issues with Doug Martin. So, as I mentioned, I'm taking Ferguson, and he is selected. In my is this Vagisil? No, that's Vagisil rivalry of the week, so it's not that. This is actually going to be my lock of the week. My lock of the week is going to go to Jared Team 10 against the Pink Gorillas, Mike Samuels. If not for any other reason, just because I outbid him on a kicker for picking him up this week. He is starting Mason Crosby, who is on a bye. He did try to bid on him, though, or bid on Philly's kicker, whoever he is now. I outbid him, so he will not be punished for that. He is hoping for another big game from Mr. Robinson, Denard Robinson. He's going to need it. He's going to need LaFell and Fitzgerald to show up huge again like they did last week. But I'm going to say that's going to be the exception to the rule. I don't see them ever putting up a combination week like that again. I think Mike maybe gets to about 90 to 95 points with the team he's rolling out there this week. On the other hand, we have Jared. A lot of Jared's guys are back and healthy now. He doesn't have really any big health concerns. He does have some bye concerns, but he picked the right guy to have the bye concerns against. He is sitting out because of the byes. A lot of byes going on. Roddy White, Delaney Walker, Matt Forte, and Brandon Marshall. But he does have feasible replacements for him. He's starting the killer Baltimore combination of Steve Smith Sr., Triple S, and Torrey Smith. One of those two guys is going to score. And Pittsburgh, they had always been known for their defense for a lot of years, but we're not really talking much about their defense anymore. Big offense going on. I think this could turn into an offensive shootout, even though it's an inter-division rivalry. He has Cook starting for him tonight, coming off of a big game last week. I like him to repeat that. Ben Tate, I'm still not really trusting at running back. I don't care if he killed me the one week. I don't see that typically happening again. And then he's also starting Bradshaw and Cecil Shorts the third. But you know what? Those guys are not too bad as backups to, again, Forte, to Marshall. I do like Jared for the victory. The win, he's going to be going to 7-2. Samuels will now fall back one game from the victor I just mentioned, Jason Ferguson in the division. In my other lock of the week, this is a combination lock of the week episode. I'm going to go with Scott over Roger. Scott's team is just strictly too strong for Rodgers, all the way up and down. We have a projection total of 165 to 124. Not that projections mean anything. Scott's actually one of the only players that is not too hurt by this week's buys. The only guy that's really out for him, I believe, is Fred Jackson. Everybody else, he has his normal starters going on. So expect, again, big games out of Antonio Brown, Demaryius Thomas. Murray, I'm going to say, is going to start to slow down a little bit, but I can see McCoy picking it back up. So that could be a nice little window back and forth for him. Hillman's going to continue to start. Ball, I believe, has already been announced out for the week. Yeah, gross. So he's going to keep trucking. He's going to get all these carries. I'm hoping he gets hurt this week. Not that I wish injuries upon anybody, but I wish an injury upon Ronnie Hillman right now. Over on, who is he playing? Oh, yeah, Rodgers' team. Again, he's actually another guy who wasn't too hurt by the buys, but his team just simply is not as good as Scott's. He does have Sproles in right now. I don't think he's been released like he's going to play it absolutely sure yet. And if he does, I think it's going to be in a limited fashion. So we may want to take a look at possibly substituting him out. He does have the other Denver receiver, Emmanuel Sanders, so that's going to be a little Denver battle going on there. If for some reason there is a lot of scoring tonight, I think it's going to come from the Cam Newton, Kelvin Benjamin 1-2 punch. And again, I mean, maybe Roger gets a nice big lead to start off, but I don't think he has enough players in the back burners to take care of it. I do like Scott in a pretty big fashion in this win, and he will be going to 8-1 and still stay in the first position in my stinking division. Roger will be dropping to 3-6. In the Vagisil rivalry matchup of the week, we have the Hurricane against D-League Derek. I call him D-League Derek because his team is strictly developmental league at this point. He has a lot of young players, a lot of people. He's starting somebody who's on the IR as of right now, but he's not, but he's still IR on Yahoo. He just has a lot of young guys on long-term contracts, which I think are going to turn out good. But as far as this year, he doesn't stand a chance against a team like the Hurricanes. To give you a few examples of Derek's team, he has Mr. Sims in out of Tampa Bay. Again, I think Doug Martin might be starting this week out of Tampa for Andy. Rainey, we just talked about, and now Sims. All three Tampa running backs may be starting, and they have a horrible offense. Let's just start in that conversation there. Out of all of his players starting, he only has 4 projected in the double digits. And one of them is Percy Harvin, who we all know what a bust he's been this year, and every year for that matter. Your favorite boy, Derek Naberta. On the bright side, he does have Oliver going and Baldwin, 2 guys who have proven to be pretty big studs. So, I mean, he's going to score some points, maybe 85, maybe 90. That's probably where I put the over-under. I still may take the under in that. Over at the Hurricane side of things, some bad news coming out of Cincinnati. It looks like Gio Bernard did not practice again. He has a hip injury. They say he's going to be okay. I've also heard that he's going to possibly be out this week and next week, which I'm kind of mad that I didn't start Jeremy Hill. I mean, I traded Jeremy Hill in some other league, but Bernard is now projected 0. I don't see him going this week. He was looking like he was hurting last week. So again, Eric chose a great week, I suppose, to have something bad happen to his team as he's playing the D-League Derek Naberta's team. He is hurt by buys, so really he's going to end up having to put in Trent Richardson, even if he's okay, as he's also has a questionable tag on him. No, he looks good. He's not even on the injury report anymore. Yahoo sucks. So he does have a viable option, putting in Richardson, which would help him out. But, you know, Eric's team is a fragile team. You got Miller, Deshaun, Ellington, Patterson. All those guys can possibly miss games. So just keep that in mind as we get farther into the season with a few more banged up bodies. Nonetheless, in this game, I do pick the Hurricanes. In the first game of the week, we have Forte Dash, myself, against the Swedish Assassin. I'm going to go a little bit farther on this one, obviously, being the matchup of the week. This has a ton going on as far as what could happen in the playoffs, what could happen in the standings. I am initially projected to beat him by 9 points due to the fact that Doug does have some people on buys this week. So do I. I mean, whatever. Everybody does for the most part. So here we go. At the quarterback position, he's starting Andrew Luck. I'm starting Russell Wilson because Matt Ryan's on a bye. I will definitely give Doug the advantage. His luck is going against the Giants, who do not typically have a very good defense. Russell Wilson going against Oakland, playing in a later game, which he does better at home. But Andrew Luck has just been a stud this year. So I will give Doug that matchup. In the wide receiver column, Doug is throwing out Wes Welker, who's been struggling mightily this year. Crabtree, I'll say the same. And then Louis Murphy Jr. out of Tampa Bay, the number 3 wideout. Yeah, he's not going to get this category. I'm going to throw out there AJ Green, Jeremy Maclin, and yeah, I'll probably throw out Edelman as well. My guys will absolutely dominate that. If for some reason Green doesn't go, I can instantly throw in Garcon or Floyd. I expect to be a big leeway into my portion for that, which will make up a lot of points, especially on the quarterback end. And the running back side of things, I'm starting Le'Veon and Jamal Charles against Foster and Morris. I'm going to give myself that victory again. I think Foster may score more points than either Charles or Bell, but the combined total of those of Charles and Bell will overtake what Morris and Foster will be able to bring to the table together. Foster going against a weaker Philly defense, Morris against a stronger Minnesota, while my guys are going against Baltimore and the Jets. So we have that. Tight end, I'm going to go at a wash, and these guys are actually playing each other, so this could be very interesting. Julius Thomas for myself, Gronk for Doug. Gronk is projecting more points, but Denver does a really good job of rolling their safeties over. And actually, I'm going to say the same thing for New England at different times. So that could be a tight one. I could say either both of them will go off or they both won't do anything. That's why I'm calling that one a wash. And finally, at the flex position, Doug's rolling out Jeremy Curley and Jimmy Graham. And I am, as of right now, have Pierre Garcon and Floyd out of Arizona. I do have the options of putting in Reggie Wayne, Jeremy Hill. If Bernard is out, I will be putting him in, possibly dropping Floyd out or Garcon out. Again, I think we're to a point where Doug has the best player that's going to be in that group, Graham, but I see my combination of my 2 players outdoing his 2 players because Curley won't live up to par against a tough Kansas City defense. I'm going to take myself again. Kickers were going to call it a wash. I'm going to take myself for the victory. Doug's going to be dropping. Eric's going to actually get the first taste of a divisional lead this week. And Doug, welcome to actually playing a hard schedule. Here come the big boys now. And finally, the other matchup of the weekend, I picked 2 strictly because this should be a heck of a game. Derek Mostrom and Andy Helmholtz. Derek projected 112, Andy 114. This has a ton more implications for Derek than it does Andy. If Derek wins, he keeps pace in his division, possibly takes the lead. Andy's kind of thrown it away this year, but he still has a decent team. So again, we'll go step by step in this one, a little bit quicker though. We have Palmer against Dallas for Andy, Fitzpatrick against Philly for Derek. I do like Palmer slightly, very slightly better, only because Palmer can throw the ball. I trust him a little bit more. But Philadelphia has a much worse defense overall than what Dallas has proven to have. So slight edge to Andy. Wide receiver, Derek's rolling out Andre J. Johnson, Dwayne Bowe, and Mr. Bolden, while Andy's rolling out Wallace, Sanu, and Jackson. I think this is actually going to go to Andy again, partially because I don't know how well AJ Green's going to be coming back, and Sanu's been playing strong ever since AJ Green's been gone. So I'll give that one to Andy as well. Running back, Andre Williams, Carlos Hyde for Andy. And then we have McFadden and Davis for Derek. I'm going to call that a wash. That's just horrible. Tight end, Olsen against Davis, another wash. And then the flex, we have Amaro and Beckham Jr. against Ertz and Cooper. Slightly to Andy. I'm going to give Andy the slight victory here. Derek just can't quite get over that hump to take the lead. So that's your quick recap, everybody. I want to keep it under 15 minutes. Thanks for tuning in. I like how everything's turning out and going. I do say we need to get together on a Thursday, though, again, coming up soon. We're due. It's kind of time. Discuss some more changes. Who knows? Have a good night. Peace.